Everybody, welcome to the Finance Rebel Show. Today is Wealthy Wednesdays, and today we are going to be talking about the Biden administration's new proposed IRS regulations to give them more control of the banks. So, if you're worried about the IRS having more control over your banking account or seeing what's going on in your bank account, this is the show for you. Hey, everybody, Kamari Yellis here, Finance Rebel. Every week we do Wealthy Wednesdays, and today is no other. But got a little bit of news going on here, right? I'm late for a reason. I started off on time. Well, I thought I was going to be on time. Started off on time, but I guess the internet gods or the health gods or the tax gods just didn't want me to be great. They didn't want me to be here. But again, we're talking about taxes, the IRS, and the IRS having more control over banking. A lot of people have been up in arms about this, got some text about it, some DMs, some inboxes, and everybody is worried about this proposed legislation. So I figured that's what the people want to talk about. I'm all about the people. So we will talk about it. So again, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. I see a few folks are here in the building. Jose is in the building. How you doing, Jose? Go CP&G. How you doing? How you been? I haven't seen you in a while. Been missing you. Now, I'll give y'all an update. I got something to share with y'all real quick. A new update. Something that's happened to me. But let me do this real quick. I want to share this out with everybody. So everybody can get an update. What to think about with the IRS. If the IRS has more control over your bank account, if you should be worried or not. But I didn't get a chance to share this out in all of my normal places because again I was delayed, and I will tell you all about that in a second. So give me 1 second, un momento, as I look and work to share this out. Jose, if you can do me a favor, if you could share this on my personal page and the Finance Rebel Academy, that would be very, very helpful. Or Don, one of y'all, if y'all could help me out. Miss Tiff, 0007, how are you? Happy Wednesday. Because I always have a hard time when I try to do this live. All right, there we go. I think I could do it there. Let's see. No worries. Pay to be proactive. But yeah, I get it. Absolutely. Don Johnson's in the building. All right, Go CP&G says, heard Bill Gates is trying to buy the Four Seasons. The IRS thing and dating apps being traded. Wild Finance Month. Yes, it seems like every month is a wild month or a wild day. It's never slowing down. Oh, man, what is going on here? So give me 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second. So will the IRS have control over your bank accounts? Right? That's what I'm sharing out. That's the message. Has anybody been following this? All right, I think I got one going there. Let's see. Share to a couple of groups. Give me 1 second, y'all. Almost done. Almost done. Mark Daniels, how are you, sir? Wichita's in the building. All right, well that's it for me. Wichita's in the building. How you doing, Mark? Welcome. I haven't seen you in a while. Sierra Sanders, how are you? Welcome. All right, so let's get to it, folks. Let's get to it. So today I was delayed. I had done all the pre-work to be here on time, but I had this little thing happen to me. If y'all can see this, oh, I guess you can't see it. I got this boot. I got this boot on my leg. As I sprained my ankle. I went and played golf on Friday. Called myself trying to relax, and I sprained my ankle. But I guess it's my fault because I haven't been out playing golf like I need to be, like I should be, because I love it. In about 4 or 5 months, it's because I've been just so busy. And then I wake up. I went Friday, wake up like Saturday, Sunday. Don't even remember what day it was. And my leg's swollen. I felt like if anybody's ever seen the movie Misery, where the lady grabs the guy's ankles, puts the block in between the guy's ankles, takes a sledgehammer and hits his ankles against the blocks. That's how my ankle felt. And so I've been dealing with that pain the last couple of days. And so today I just said, enough's enough. Enough's enough. Let me go to the doctor. Took an x-ray and they said, oh, yeah, you got a sprain. It's all swollen. So, enough's enough. And so they gave me some drugs, gave me a boot, and sent me off on my way. Said take some Advil, take some Motrin, and buck up. Basically, right? So, but yeah, sprained ankle. So that's why I'm late, y'all. Y'all can see the proof. I got the boot on my leg. I wouldn't make that one up. Trey Snatch, how you doing, brother? So, again, today we're talking about, will the IRS take control over your bank account? News has come out that the Biden administration is pushing for the IRS to have control or oversight, right, over your bank accounts, basically being able to see what your cash flow looks like in your bank account. Anything over $600, they will be reporting. Banks will be reporting to the IRS. Now, a lot of people don't know this. If you do any kind of transactions, $10,000 or more, the banks have to register that. They have to do a special form and report that to the IRS. And guess what? If you do 9,999 and you do it enough, they still report. So it's not just if you have $10,000 or more. If you are close, you will get reported. Kelly's Closet in the building. How are you? What's up, Nakia? How you doing? Kelly, when we open it up, I need to come see you. Kelly, so I talked to Kelly. I'm going to blame Kelly, right? I was talking to Kelly on Friday before I went golfing. And then, Kelly, guess what? I sprained my ankle. BX Born 7. Is that Bronx Born 7? So, Kelly, I'm blaming you for my little kerfuffle. So, again, today we're talking about the IRS, all right? The IRS having control over your banking if you have more than $600 coming in. Now, there's been some developments, right? And as a disclaimer, I hate talking about this stuff. Why do I hate talking about this stuff? Because it's not law yet. All right, so basically, the Democrats have proposed a new tax bill to increase tax revenue and try to help the IRS have more ammunition, have more power to combat tax cheats. So they say, allegedly, right? So they're saying that allegedly they need more control for that. And if you've noticed, Biden has been talking about giving the IRS more power, more funding to be able to help against tax cheats and get more money, tax money, in to the federal government's coffers. Now, some people think that's good. Some people think it's bad. I'm going to tell you up front, I think it's a good thing. Not the new proposal, the increased funding for the IRS. Why? Because you got taxpayers that have been sitting on hold, wasting their whole life away because there's nobody there to answer the phones, right? You got taxpayers whose tax refunds have been stuck in limbo or tax hell forever because there's nobody to process their tax returns, right? Last I saw, there were over 8 million unprocessed tax returns. Now, when I first started talking about this, it was over 30 million. All right, that's not the case anymore. It's down to about 8 million ish. All right. So again, more and more things are coming about as they move forward. Now, again, the Democrats and Congress and the House of Representatives, to be exact, have put forth some legislation, proposed legislation, because it's not law, that they want to give the IRS more power to be able to do surveillance and look at people's bank accounts, especially those that do PayPal, especially those who get Cash App, especially those who get Venmo, Square, all those kind of things. I know a lot of people who get money in their accounts, their personal accounts, Cash, Venmo, Square, a Stripe, any of those, and they disguise it as personal income or personal money, not as actual business income, but they're actually running a business. The IRS knows this. The IRS knows this. So they're proposed this. Now, you got to think about this, right? This whole country was started because of taxation without representation. Basically, avoiding the long arm of the law. That's why the quote unquote English settlers said they wanted to get away from the Queen or the King's rule over in Britain because they would tax them, but they didn't have any representation. And he felt it was very, very long reaching and an overstretch of government. So here we are today, right? But it's not law, and people were just up in arms about it. And guess what? The bank said, oh, hell no, because that's more work for me. And if anybody knows anything about banking, they have a very strong lobby, right? So it's not just banking, by the way, it was banking and financial services, and they all kind of get lumped up together. So they talked to their folks. They had their peoples call the Congress's people, the Democratic Congress peoples, and say, no, this ain't going to work. And so guess what, folks? They took it out. They took it out, at least in the fashion that they're talking about it now. Now they said it might come back in some other ways, right? Currently the reporting is 10,000. Maybe they'll make it 5,000 or 1,000, right? But it's not 600. And again, a lot of people were up in arms about this. Again, I don't really like to talk about the stuff until it's actually finalized. Why? Because when I'm busy, right? I can do this, talk to y'all all day long. I love it. But when I come to y'all, I don't want to just come to y'all and talk about frivolous things, right? But we live in this 24-hour news cycle where everybody's trying to be the first, the fastest, even if they're wrong, right? I get Kelly. I'm gonna pick on Kelly, right? Kelly says, Kamari, sometimes you take too long to get to the point. Hurry up and get to the point, right? And I say, I want to go through the context and the nuance of these situations because people need to understand them. So it takes a little bit while longer. Now, yeah, I can give you a soundbite. The IRS is trying to take everybody's power by invading their bank accounts. I can say that, but it's more deep than that, right? This is a political thing. And politics actually drives money, believe it or not. But a lot of us, especially us in our community, many, many times think that politics is all rigged, and a lot of it is, and we have no power. That's a lie. But there are situations like these where we should be totally, totally up on what's going on, what the process is, how it works, because they messing with your money. Taxes messes with our money all the time. But a lot of us just say, take our money and we'll go away. We won't think about it. We won't complain about it until there's a bit of an overreach. So again, that's why I don't always try to come and be the first one out. I want to give you something real, give you real commentary about what I think, what my education has taught me, what my experience is, and then we can go from there. But again, I talked about this today because so many people reached out to me and said, listen, we need to talk about this. All right, so we're talking about it. But guess what? Again, it's not an issue anymore. Democrats were proposing a bill, they took it out. So, like I said, as of right now, this new budget, this new legislation that they're proposing is not going to have bank oversight of your accounts in the tune of $600. Now, why should you care about this? Right? As I talked about earlier, the IRS needs more funding. The IRS needs more staff. That's a fact. IRS has been understaffed and underbudgeted for at least 10 years. With that understaffed and underbudgeted, if they cannot process tax returns in a timely manner, what's going to happen if they start looking into your bank accounts and they make a mistake? How long will it take them to get your money back if they make a mistake? That could be disastrous for a lot of people. They say the average American cannot deal with an emergency. Excuse me, y'all. With an emergency of $400. So with this proposed, now we know it's not real, right? But with this proposed legislature, let's say the IRS comes in, makes a mistake, and you flat broke for a couple weeks. That's a rough pill to swallow. So that's why more of us need to be on top of what's going on in Washington, why more of us need to be on top of what's going on in your state capitals, why more of us need to be on top of what's going on with your city municipalities, your city councils, or your alderman's council, or whatever it's called, wherever you're at, because they create policies that affect your life, whether you know about it or not. And I think it's better to know about it than not, because if you know about it, one, you could have some say in getting it through, right, or stopping it. Two, once you know about it and it's coming through, you can plan for it. A lot of people overpaying taxes. Why? Because they don't plan their taxes. A lot of people, I've been talking about it more and more and more. You should be tax planning right now. Right now. But a lot of us will wait until January, February, March, April, May, June of 2022, where the most of our power is right now. Right now, and whatever you can do before December 31st. It does not pay to be reactive. When we come to wealth acquisition and acquirement, it does not pay to be reactive. It pays to be proactive. All right. But I wanted to come and just talk about that and let folks know that it's been taken off the table. Get your panties out of a bunch. We're cool for now. But keep your eye on the ball. Those folks in Washington, a lot of times they get elected on the popularity contest. Same thing in whatever your local state government is or your local municipality is. They don't get elected oftentimes because they have the best ideas. They don't get elected oftentimes because they're very smart or because they're very well educated and versed in an area. Every politician has a say in economics, macro, micro, federal, state, local. How many politicians have studied economics? How many politicians have studied finance? How many politicians have studied accounting? Not many. Not many. So if you want uneducated, unqualified, sometimes downright dumb representing you without your say, then yeah, we can keep doing the same old game. But I would at least rather voice my opinion through voting. But politics is not just about voting. It's about voting. It's about money, right? Can't get elected without money. It's about legislation. Guess what? You can propose legislation. If you get enough people together, you can propose legislation. Everybody or every city or state has a charter. If you start reading through it, you can see what you can do. Many of them, you can very easily propose legislation or propose ballot questions to change legislation, right? I know here in the state of Pennsylvania, oftentimes there are ballot questions about bonds. If the city or the state should take out bonds, right, to cover the money that they need to pay for something, whether it's a bridge or a plant or something like that, they need the money up front, and then the tax dollars will come later on to pay for it. Oftentimes, that is a ballot question. So we all have power. A lot of times we just don't exercise it. And here's the ultimate power. When you get people to unite and work together and voice their concerns and voice their wants, you have ultimate power. But again, it takes unity. And that takes a higher level of sophistication because everybody's not going to agree all the time. All right. So listen, if you're just joining, this is our Wealthy Wednesday segment of the Finance Rebel Show. I'm Kamari Ellis. We do this show every week, 8 p.m. Every week at 8 p.m. Again, I was a little late today, but do me a favor. If you've been enjoying my content, like it on YouTube, like it on Facebook, like it on Instagram, share it. Share it on YouTube, share it on Facebook, share it on Instagram, and save it. I know you can do that in some places, right? Come back and look at it and see if what I'm saying makes sense. All right. So the whole point, though, of Wealthy Wednesdays is to answer your money questions. But I always like to bring something for us to talk about to give some color, clarity, commentary on, just to give some folks a little bit more direction, right, and what they're doing with their money. The whole point of the Finance Rebel Show is to help people increase their financial IQ. All right. So, you got any questions, money questions, tax, stocks, business, real estate, insurance? Go ahead and throw them in the chat. Guess what? It's September. September is life insurance awareness month. I would encourage you all to look over your life insurance policies. If you don't have life insurance, go get some, especially if you have children. If you haven't reviewed your life insurance, please review it. We get with your insurance professional and review it. Also, check over your beneficiaries. All right. Make sure that, God forbid, you don't make it on one night that you get called to the upper room and you go beyond up yonder, that the money that you have been paying the premiums for is going to where you want it to go. All right, but again, go ahead and throw your comments, questions, concerns in the chat, and we will get to them. Miss Edith is here. Miss 527. Ty is here. Tiger Eye 89 is here. The CPA Confidence here. How are you? DLC 00021. If you explain it right, I don't care how long you take. All right, I appreciate that. Tell Kelly that. All right, Kelly says it's currently 10K. I wish they leave some stuff alone. Yeah, I think they should leave it alone. But again, a lot of people are not paying their fair share in taxes. That's a fact. Also, the people who get audited the most are poor people, especially poor people who do what's called earned income credit down south. Yeah, Alabama's, Georgia's, Louisiana, Arkansas. A lot of them get targeted because they did EIC. Sometimes they brought somebody's children. Sometimes they might have claimed some children they shouldn't have. Sometimes you get into a dispute with your baby mama and baby daddy, and you claim the kids in advance, trying to beat them to get your tax refund, and it causes a world of problems. All right. So, all right, go ahead and throw your comments, questions, concerns in the chat. If you're IG, go ahead and throw them in the question mark little bubble at the bottom. So let's see. Jose said, surprised that I'm a golfer. Yes, I am a golfer. I love the game. I don't know if I'm really a golfer though. I call myself a professional golf landscaper. All right, Chandra, how you doing? How you doing? You're gonna like my video even though you don't watch me. I appreciate that, but come on back and watch me. Maybe we can share some information and grow together. All right, I think Chandra's going now. She said have a great day, but I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Hey, Latoya, how you doing? It's my taxes right there, Latoya down in Texas. Angela says hello, happy Wednesday, Kamari, and everyone. It's only me today. You ain't got to worry about the rest of the team. That's on Sunday. Appreciate you though, Angela. Great Strong, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ad taken off the table for now. Yes. Yep. The Forbes, how are you? How are you? Alexandra Jackson. Hey, where you been? All right, let's see. Miss Edith says good evening. All right, so Miss Edith is the rebel saint here. Right. She's a model rebel. She's on Facebook and Instagram, probably on YouTube as well. Appreciate you, Miss Edith. And she liked and shared. So, any questions, comments, or concerns? Now, I already told you I sprained my ankle, so I'm not going to be on too long. But I'm committed to being here every week to make sure we start talking about it. Oh, by the way, tax deadline is today for S corps and partnerships. If you filed an extension earlier on in the year in March for your S corp and or partnership, it is due today. Now, if you are in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, you got an extension because of Ida, Hurricane Ida, or was it Tropical Storm Ida? Whichever one it was, Ida came through and wrecked shop. So you get a little reprieve, you get some more time off to get everything in. So what questions, what comments, what concerns do folks have? Lamont Harris, how are you? Welcome. Thanks for joining us. What y'all got? I'll stay on for a little while longer, but like I said, ankle sprained. I took a little ibuprofen, so I'm not going to stay on too long. So everybody's quiet today. No questions, no thoughts. Is anybody paying attention to the Theranos trial or Thanos? I always say it wrong. I want to say Thanos, but it's with the CEO Elizabeth Holmes. It's almost like the modern day Enron or WorldCom situation. Is anybody paying attention to that? The lady basically had this company, a medical equipment company, and said that their testing was better than everybody else's. But she lied. But the weird thing, that like the story is so strange. She lied to the employees, she lied to investors, she lied to the public. But then people wind up missing and killed over all this. So when you get a chance, check that out. All right. So Jose says he's listening while he's getting his work done. All right. Jose always hustling. All right. The Forbes says, do you think that September is a slow month for the stock market? Yeah, it usually is. A lot of these are based off of historical stuff. So many times back in the day, September was the worst month for the stock market because the market usually goes down like sell in May and go away. So like in May, the traders in the pits will go on vacation. Oftentimes, people tend to go on vacation in the summer months. Trading activity usually slows down in the summer months. Even when you're coming back in September, traders are coming back to get active, but then it's back to school. So people are coming back off of vacation. They're getting acclimated back to work life. But now things are a little bit different. Number one, most of the trading pits are not people. They're computer programs and algorithms, right? So it's not people as much anymore. And we're seeing more order flow from new investors that how can I say this? They're new, but they have the ability to get more access to the markets because they have their phones, they have apps like Robinhood or Webull. I mean, even TD, things like that is very accessible. Where back in the day, that was like rough, almost unheard of. Right? She's trying to blame her ex. Yeah, it's a whole mess. It's a whole mess. But again, they cook the books. They lied to folks, and again, it's like the modern day WorldCom and Ryan situation, and so there's a whole trial going on for it. Check it out. Sometimes fiction actually, well, sometimes reality actually is stranger than fiction. I don't buy the abusive relationship defense. No, I don't either. I don't either. Thank you, Alexandra. False blood work testing company. Check out 60 Minutes episode on her. Yeah, I saw some of it. It's been going on now for about, I want to say 2, 3 years. It's been going on for a while. I actually kind of forgot about it. And then it came back up. And then today, I forget the lady that was testifying today, but basically said that Elizabeth Holmes knew what she was doing, intentionally lied, intentionally cooked the books, and so actually was using other people's equipment when giving, when stating that um, these blood work reports would come in, said they were Theranos' machines, but sometimes they were Siemens and some other medical device machines as well. So they just lied all over the place. They just lied all over the place. Forever Hungry, welcome, welcome, welcome. Is that Lily or Lally 22? Vernon Riley, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, it's like a whole mess. All right, Latoya asked me, what do I think about PPP? So this is like a ringer question. Latoya already knows how I feel about it. Me and Latoya have been making jokes about PPP stuff almost all year, right? PPP came out last year. Yeah, so we've been making jokes about it the whole year. Like, the thing about it is, to me, is why lie? What's the point of lying about PPP when somebody's going to get found out one way or another? And then some of the audacious lies were just like idiotic. I saw one, I can't remember where it was. I think it was in like Massachusetts or Vermont. Had a guy at a pizza shop. I think I talked about this on the show. He got PPP. He went and brought an alpaca farm. Like, I can't make this up. And this is like straight out of a scene from American Gangster with Denzel. It's like, it's alpaca. I can't say the line because it's kind of crude. But in the scene where I think it was his cousin dropped wine on the alpaca rug and he was wiping it off. He said, "You don't wipe alpaca, you blot alpaca." But like, why would you go buy an alpaca farm? Like, you got tired of selling pizzas? Like, pizza went out of style now? Like, alpacas is that much fun? I mean, listen, I am all for anybody doing whatever their passion is, whatever they feel their purpose is. But you just go from selling dough and pizza and cheese to picking up alpaca crap. Yeah, I don't know. I I don't know, y'all. But then you got some other folks. It seems like a lot of the celebrities, a lot of the folks on TV getting PPP fraud money, and they go buy blue Lamborghinis. Now, somebody said blue doesn't get detected as easily when you're speeding. I don't know. I don't have a blue Lamborghini. nor would I ever buy one. I might rent one though, just for fun, but I definitely wouldn't buy one. But I don't know. I don't know. The latest was 1.4 million in monthly payroll. They lied about 1.4 million in monthly payroll. Jeez Louise. And here's the thing about payroll. Payroll is reported pretty regularly, right? You're supposed to submit quarterly payroll reports quarterly. And so if the SBA, that's the organization that administers PPP and EIDL, if they want to go back and do a quick check, because all of it's public, they can compare and say, well, what are your 940 or 941 payroll returns look like versus this 1.4 million that you're reporting? By the way, the SBA now is pulling tax transcripts to verify that you indeed make the same money that you make. I got a client call me with that earlier this week. The SBA was looking to give out more money. I think it was for EIDL, and he had to do some kind of check. He put not some kind of check. I know what it is. It's a 4506T. That's when mortgage companies and banks, they go out and request your tax transcripts to see if you're telling the truth or not. Like, it really doesn't pay to be a criminal, folks. It doesn't pay at all. But he put in the wrong number. SBA kicked it back. I was able to tell him what the right number was because he didn't actually look at his tax return. And now he's good. He's good to go. But again, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. All right, Jose says Alpaca Farm was the most hilarious of the PPP frauds. Yeah, it was. It was. I mean, I always tell y'all, don't take penitentiary chances. Now, most of the PPP funds can be forgiven 50,000 or less, right? But when folks were doing this, that wasn't a rule. So a lot of folks made up businesses, said that they drove Uber and Lyft and DoorDash and Instacart, just made stuff up before this ruling came. Now, for the most part, they are going to forgive a loan less than $50,000. But again, why take the chance? Why take the chance? To me, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. 3 Elements LLC, welcome, welcome, welcome. Whoa, got a super chat. Elijah, thank you, sir. I appreciate you. $10 super chat. Elijah says, keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate you, sir. Appreciate that. That'll go into my equipment fund. I gotta get me some more equipment. I got a new camera, some new lighting. Listen, I'm stepping this up, y'all. I am stepping this up. So looking at doing some more things so I can keep bringing y'all good information and do it in the best possible way possible. But any other questions? Any other questions? I think it looks like I got a question on that, Jay, but I think my Tylenol has kicked in, so I don't feel any pain since I sprained my foot. If you're now just joining, I sprained my ankle, y'all. Freak golf accident that I didn't even know happened. Go figure. All right. So Mid-Atlantic says, thoughts on whole life insurance. All right, it is Life Insurance Awareness Month, as I said earlier. It's Life Insurance Awareness Month. There's basically 4 types of life insurance. You have term, where you have Elaine Jones Ayers just sent me a cash app. Appreciate you, Elaine. Thank you. There's 4 types of life insurance, right? There is term, what you have for a term, 5 years, 10 years. I've seen them even up to 30 years. You pay a set price, and it will last that way for the term of your insurance. Now, after that term's up, you have to figure something else out. Sometimes you can extend it, sometimes you can convert it. Depends on what riders you have on your insurance, right? But usually it ends. And then you have to look at more than likely getting a new policy. And typically, when you get older, new policy pricing goes up because life insurance is all about health, right? Life insurance companies know the healthier you are, the longer you're going to live, the more money they can make from you. So don't forget that. Don't forget that. All right, so we got term. At the other end, by the way, term doesn't generate any cash value. At the other end of the spectrum, you have whole life. Whole life is the most expensive form of life insurance. Whole life also generates a cash value. Usually, you get paid off of the dividends. If it's well, I'm not going to confuse y'all. You get paid off of the dividends or some of the earnings of the companies when you have whole life. All right. Again, most expensive, but you get a cash value. You have it for your entire life, as long as you pay your premiums. All right. The beautiful thing about whole life is, or cash value life insurance is, as you are building cash value, it grows tax free. And there are ways to pull life insurance or pull cash out of your life insurance without paying taxes. All right. So keep that in mind. Now, there are two other forms of life insurance, and this is a broad general review. All right. So you have a variable universal life where you can direct a part of your life insurance premium into the stock market through what they call sub accounts that are kind of like mutual funds. All right. And then you also have, by the way, variable universal life also builds a cash value, grows tax free, can pull it out tax free, has a little bit more flexibility than variable universal life. However, it is succumb, or it's open, wrong word. It's subject. There we go. Subject. It's subject to the whims of the stock market. So meaning it will go up and down, up and down. And a lot of people don't like that because it can be risky for them. Because when it's time to pull the money out, they might need it. So again, it takes proper planning. And the last form of life insurance is universal life. So universal life gets a cash value, grows tax free, can again pull out tax free potentially, right? The earnings though for universal life usually is tied to interest rates. Now, universal lives were very, very popular in the 80s when we had rampant interest rates. Oftentimes you were seeing interest rates of 15%. That was easy. Many a life insurance salesperson kind of oversold the product and it got a bad name because when interest rates fell, those life insurance policies blew up. So again, just to come back to Mid-Atlantic's actual question, I wanted to give y'all that whole context so everybody can understand it. The question is thoughts on whole life insurance. I love it. I think life insurance as a whole is probably the greatest financial tool ever created, ever. And because it's just so durable, it does so many things. It's very flexible. Some people don't like finance. I mean, whole life. You got some other folks who are on TV that have way bigger audiences than me that are alabaster in complexion, and they'll run around and they say buy term and invest the rest. Well, that works for some people, but it doesn't work for everybody, right? Personal finance is very personal. Again, personal finance is very personal. So what works for me doesn't work for Mid-Atlantic. What works for me doesn't work for Miss Edith. So you have to do what works for you, right? So hey, Chappelle, how are you, sir? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So again, when we're looking at life insurance and we're thinking about it, we have to think about what is the purpose of life insurance. Well, purpose of life insurance is to replace income. I'm married, I have children, I even have a grandbaby, right? If I don't get home tonight and tomorrow, my income disappears. So then my daughter is kind of robbed of my income. My wife's robbed. My sons are robbed. Even my granddaughter, right? As I talk about generational wealth, they've been robbed because I can no longer bring income in. Well, one of the things I can do is I can get a life insurance policy if I qualify, right? Again, everybody does not qualify. So I can get, let's say, the average American makes about $50,000 a year. $50,000 times 20 is $1 million. So my granddaughter is 6. Easily, I definitely want to be in her life for the next 20 years. But what if I'm not? My children, my youngest children are teenagers. I definitely want to be in their lives for the next 20 years. But what if I'm not? They're going to be going to college soon. Can I leave them something so my wife doesn't have to try to figure out how to pay for college and struggle? I mean, I would think that my community, you guys, love me so much that, y'all will send my wife some money from time to time, right? Say, hey, take care of those babies. But we know most times that doesn't happen. So, we got to try to plan as much as possible. So it becomes a really good tool when using and planning and thinking about stuff like that. I mean, again, I'm sorry, y'all. My Instagram is having a problem, so we might have to rock out without Instagram. My apologies. But again, if I'm not thinking about any of that, at least thinking about it, I'm doing them a disservice. Now, Alexandra Jackson brings up a very good point. She says, no spouse, no children. I decided to get final expense insurance. Right. So she got final expense insurance. I get it. Now, my not pushback, but I might say to Alexandra, well, do you have any other family members that you care about? Any young ones in your family that you care about? Well, it might make sense to take out a life insurance policy on yourself to potentially increase the generational wealth capability of those young people in your family, if there's anybody you care about. Now, everybody's situation, again, is not the same. Personal finance is personal. And for the record, everything that we're talking about tonight is for education and entertainment purposes only. Okay? So keep that in mind, y'all. Keep that in mind. And it looks like IG just doesn't like me, y'all. Doesn't like me. Oh well. Oh well. All right. But those are things you got to think about. Because again, the beauty of life insurance is, let's say you're 30. You could probably, let's say $50. You could probably take $50 and get $1 million in coverage, potentially. Again, a lot of factors. I'm not looking at the charts. This is all hypothetical, educational, and entertainment purposes only. So, those are some things you could do. All right. Alexandra says, I have other life insurance policies through my job and my credit union. No, I mean, but you still made a great point, though. There are a lot of people who don't have children, who don't have loved ones, and they don't see the need for life insurance. I get it. I totally get it. But life insurance, again, when used properly, can also be a wealth tool, a wealth management tool, a wealth planning tool. Not for everybody, but it can be for a lot. Now, lost the question on IG because IG went out. So Mid-Atlantic might have missed all the commentary. So I apologize, but it ain't my fault. It ain't my fault. So if anybody else has any other questions before we get going tonight, go ahead and throw them in the chat. IG, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you're at. And go ahead and share this out with somebody who's interested in increasing their financial IQ. So, hey, Jasmine. Hey, Tasha. Teach everyone about money. Dope name. Welcome, y'all. If you're just now joining, I'm Kamari Ellis. I'm the Finance Rebel. Every Wednesday, we do the Finance Rebel Show live. This is our Wealthy Wednesday segment where I answer all your questions about money, taxes, insurance, business, real estate. And I'm able to talk about all these things because I've done all those things in some shape, form, or capacity. I'm not as young as I look, y'all. I'm not as young as I look. So I've been around the block. I've been to the rodeo a couple of times. So everything I talked about, I've done, and not just done for myself personally, but have advised actual people. Went to school for this. So it's not just stuff I learned on YouTube videos or anything like that. This is real stuff that I spent my whole life learning. So again, any questions, comments, concerns? Yes, Taid. Yes, we are here. We are here. Thank you, sir. Any comments, y'all? So tell me this. It's the end of the year, right? We're about to hit the fourth quarter. Go ahead, Taid. Oh, you got a question. We're about to hit the fourth quarter, right? What are your plans for the rest of the year? What are your plans for your money for the rest of the year? Are you saving? Are you budgeting? Are you planning? Right? Are you investing? Are you investing in yourself? All right, so Saeed has a question. Hey, Nicole, what are the apps, financial or beyond, that help those who are building a consulting business? Oh, um, so I use QuickBooks for a lot of my clients. I think every business needs to have a bookkeeping system or accounting system or whatever you have it. Why? You need a way of categorizing all of your financial transactions, money that comes in, money that goes out. It makes it easier for tax time. It makes it easier to plan. It makes it easier to control your business. All right. Again, the question is, what are the apps, financial or beyond, that help those who are building a consulting business? Other app I will suggest is a way for people to book appointments with you. I'm too old to be going back and forth doing email, so I usually just send the link. Sometimes during a heated moment like today, I had to help somebody with something. They called me at the last minute, and I just said, just call me tomorrow at 12. And so that worked. But for the most part, I'll send the app. Calendly is black owned, or Calendly is black owned. So I would say start there, look at that one first. I would also have a way of accepting payments. I'm not sure if you can accept payments with Calendly or Calendly, because again, I always get the name confused. Uh, you know, you want to have a way to get paid. You can do invoices and PayPal. If you are really good with QuickBooks, you can send invoices in QuickBooks. There's some other apps out there that's really good with that. FreshBooks is another one that's really good for consulting and things like that. Yes, Calendly is definitely owned by a black man, a Nigerian man. And his story is amazing, right? So y'all know I love my black owned businesses. It's not a rare sighting for me to shout out somebody at a black owned business, local, national, or international. I'm trying to think what other apps. Taid already know you use Google Docs, right? So you can do a lot of your word processing and spreadsheets in there. Trying to think of some other apps. If anybody has any other apps that would be good for a consultant, go ahead and throw them in the chat. We believe in sharing around here, y'all. Yes, Calendly is definitely black on. Crown of Faking. What's up, Taj? Mr. Love too. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So yeah, those are just the stuff off the top of my head. Scheduling. scheduling, collecting payments, bookkeeping. I would say this too. We live in an age of social media, um, marketing, branding is very important. If you use Canva, that's a great way to do some of your graphics. Um, so that's another app. Let me see. I can't get to all my apps, right, because I'm using my phone to broadcast on Instagram. So I'm just looking at some of my apps here on my iPad, which I rarely use from any apps. Dropbox. You can use Google Drive too, but again, I use Dropbox. Um, you ask for an app, but I'm gonna throw this in there. Email. How are you getting your email? You definitely want to have a professional email. Like Taheed is. Taheed is my board member, colleague, friend over at the Philadelphia Association of Black Journalists. Taheed did the very first cannabis conference here in the city of Philadelphia. Right. So Taheed is the man all about weed. And I know they hate that word, right? But I'm old. So I still say weed. On some days I might say ganja, Mary Jane, all of the above. But I'm sure he's probably going to be talking about cannabis and lobbying for cannabis and advocating for cannabis, I would expect. Right. So you definitely want to have good email. I'm not sure which name you're using, but let's say TaheedChappelle.com. Just as a hypothetical. You want to own that. So you also want to own that domain. Hopefully you have that domain. You probably do. Right. And then have cannabis at TaheedChappelle.com or something like that. So they can reach you and how to do it. Or I don't know, make weed legal or make cannabis legal at Taheed Chappelle, stuff like that. And they know where to go. I mean, but right now, it's the easiest time it's ever been to make money. The easiest time. Um, is it hard? Yes, it's still hard. But there's a book. My dad made me read this book when I was like 14 years old. He would make me read stuff when I was on like summer break and on vacation. And one book he made me read was The Tale of Two Cities. And I don't know if any of y'all like study writing or anything like that. I'm very intrigued with writing in words. But the opening to The Tale of Two Cities, I have not forgotten that opening for some odd reason because it's very, it's catchy. It was the best of times and it was the worst of times. And so right now, I feel like, especially for Black folks with money who are going after wealth pursuits, it's definitely the best of times. It's clearly not the worst of times, but we can make the argument that it's the worst of times, right? But I say all that to say, we've got so many opportunities now, so many opportunities that our ancestors and elders did not have. And many of us don't take full advantage of them. Many of us make a lot of excuses. And listen, life is life, right? Life is hard. But you got to realize that 200 years ago, our folks couldn't just make money in their sleep. They had to do, most of us, not all. There are definitely exceptions. But there was no making money in your sleep. There was no send a link and get payment. There was no send a link and get an appointment. You had to go in town or go a couple of towns over to see somebody face to face. There's a saying in sales, you want to be eyeball to eyeball, belly to belly with people to get good sales. That's some of the best ways to make sales. Well, we get eyeball to eyeball, belly to belly with people through Zoom now. It's similar, but it's not the same. It is not the same. So, I just say, Taheed, go for it. I already know you are, but I say go for it. And don't leave any excuses. Will it be hard? Yes. Will you get your arse kicked? Sometimes, yes. I get my arse kicked a lot. But guess what? I'm still here, still pumping, and I'm gonna keep pumping until there's no more pump left. So it is definitely a thing. Whoa! Congratulations! All right, financial anatomy. That's what my boy Elijah said. I just got my first property that I'll be renting on Airbnb. Are there any tax deductions that most people miss out on the first time around? Yes, there are a lot. Now y'all trying to keep me here later. Dang, what is your name? What is your real name? I'm trying to think of your real name. AAKESQ, how are you? Welcome. Ladina, how are you? All right, so coming to Elijah's question about Airbnb tax deductions. So there's a couple, right? Not sure how you did it. A lot of people who are doing Airbnb are kind of subletting. So they're finding apartments that are vacant. They're taking the lease on them, and then they're subletting it to people on Airbnb. So one of your expenses might be to pay the rent. Another expense may be whatever other accoutrements that you add to your Airbnb experience, right? Because there's some people that do Airbnb kind of like a bread and breakfast. I know all this because I have a couple of Airbnb clients. Some of them get up and cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner, take their guests on tours, leave them a little candy on the pillow at night, tuck them in. Well, if they tuck them in, that's a little bit different. I'm going too far now. Going too far. Got to bring it back in. But, all of those things are things that you can write off. So, for example, let's say you buy water for your apartment or your place, your property. That's a write-off. Any taxes associated with it is a write-off. Uh, any licensing you get, write-off. Now, depending upon, again, the property, let's say you bought the property. One of the things I see all real estate investors do from all walks, shapes, and colors, they forget one of the greatest tax advantages that real estate investors have. And that's this weird word called depreciation. Depreciation just means it's an accounting word. It's probably French or something. But when you buy your building in your first year, you can't write it all off in the first year. Usually, you have to spread it out over the life of it. It's an asset, so it has a life. I know that might sound kind of weird because it's not a person or a pet, right? But it has a life. Usually for residential property, it's 27 and a half years. So you get the write-off. You usually get the write-off, and this is real drummed down because I could kill y'all with technicals, and I don't want to put anybody to sleep. So over 27 and a half years, you get to write off the cost of the building, the price of the building that you invested into it. So that's one thing, right? Um, Matter of fact, I was dealing with a deadline for a client now, they're a developer out in the Midwest. They didn't get me all their stuff. I had to file the return, taxes, insurance. So all of this goes hand in hand. You definitely want to have insurance if you got an Airbnb. Um, Taxes, insurance, advertising. I don't know if you do any extra advertising over and above the Airbnb app. Um, any of the furniture that you buy for the place, you might depreciate that too, though, depending on how much it is. But again, there's a lot you get the write off. There's a lot you get the write off, Elijah. But again, congratulations. Congratulations. All right, Miss Edith says, I had to read and write book reports during summer break. Yep, that was me. And that's why I'm a nerd, right? Okay, Financial Anatomy says that nowadays I feel that Cash App is mandatory. All right, so that's going back to Taheed's question about what apps are mandatory. So Taheed asked that question in the context of a consultancy in business. So if you get Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, or any of those, be very, very careful because many people get these services and they use them for personal use, or they register them as personal use. When actuality, they're doing business. And I've seen where Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo will cancel somebody's account with a whole bunch of money in it because they'll say you're violating the terms of service. So be careful with that. But I do agree with Elijah. A lot of people do take Cash App. It's almost like that or Venmo these days. All right, so I asked the question, what's everybody's plans before the end of the year? Jose says DCA, dollar cost averaging, KO. KO is the ticker symbol for Coca-Cola. All right. I think I got another question on IG. Give me 1 second and I'll come right to it. And it's a little over halfway to my goal. All right. That's what's up. That's what's up. Right. All right. Elijah says, Financial Academy says, if you're going to be doing them in person, it can help to have a Square card reader and or PayPal reader. That's a fact. That's a fact. I don't use the readers anymore because I can just send the invoice and they can pay with their credit card. But I will say this, right, from all the sales training I've had, one of the things you don't want to do is you don't want to make it hard for your customer or client to pay you. You want to make it as convenient as possible. So if they got cash and they want to swipe, let them swipe. Let them swipe. All right. All right, let's see. I know we got one more question. All right, again, thanks to everybody for the super chats and the cash apps. I got the cash app, right? Somebody just sent me a cash app. Thank you, Miss Elaine. All right, I thought we did this one already. All right, we did this one. It just didn't go away. All right. So Cruise Made Arcade, how are you? Shelby. What up, Shelby? How you doing? Atlanta is me. How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Anybody have any other questions before we jump? Now, I told you I sprained my ankle. Y'all know I ain't had my vittles yet, so I got to go get me some food because I was racing here to be here tonight. So all I can say is for y'all to pray for me. I don't know when I'll be able to get back on a course. And I've been working out more, right? This is messing up my program. Definitely messing up my program. So, as I always say, be sure that you examine everything, right? Look at it all. Don't just go for the quick sound bites. Look for the nuance. Look for the detail. Remember, the system is designed for you to just be a mindless consumer spending all your money. Rebel. I always say rebel. When you rebel, you develop a mind of your own. When you rebel, you chart your own path. When you rebel, you get to see the inconsistencies in what mainstream media, government, and all those that are in power want you to do, but it's actually not really effective for you. 76% of the United States economy is built on personal spending. Guess what? They want us to be dumb consumers. I'd rather us be smart investors, smart business owners, smart money managers. And in order to do that, you got to rebel. You got to chart your own path. So I'll see y'all next week, Wednesday, 8 p.m. for another segment of the Finance Rebel Show. Again, I appreciate you all. Always humble that you're always here every week. And I appreciate you again for having a great conversation with me. So everybody have a great night. And don't forget to rebel every day. Have a good one, y'all.